I have always thought that he was never going to fulfill his full term. Member of House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, says Jackie Speer, who represents California's 14th Congressional District near San Francisco, said the probe into Russian meddling could get very muddy very quickly. Getty Donald Trump would resign before Congress is able to impeach him, a senior U.S. representative has said, as pressure mounts over his team's alleged links to Russia. Jackie Speer, who sits on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, said attempts by the president to pardon members of his family or fire the man appointed to investigate Russian meddling in last year's presidential election could trigger an impeachment vote. I have always thought that he was never going to fulfill his full term, she said. I am more convinced that he will leave before any impeachment would take place. On Friday it emerged that the special counsel appointed to investigate Russian meddling in the 2016 vote, Robert Mueller, was using a grand jury, suggesting his probe was entering a new, more serious phase. The move piled further pressure on the president, whose 7 months in office have been dogged by accusations that his team worked with Russia to swing the vote. Speaking on Radio 4's Today program, Ms. Speer said, I do think the potential for the House to start to think in terms of impeachment is not outside the realm of possibility. It is not something that would be happening anytime soon, but if the president were to act precipitously at any of these situations, pardoning his family members, taking actions to try and get rid of Mr. Mueller, I think those would be tipping points and could end up in the House calling for impeachment. Democrat filed first articles of impeachment against Donald Trump in order for Mr. Trump to be impeached. A simple majority 50% plus one representative is needed in the House. A trial would then take place in the Senate, where a 2/3 vote is needed to remove him from office. Ms. Speer said the current makeup of the House of Representatives meant only 24 Republicans were needed to join with Democrats in order to pass an impeachment vote. Describing the similarities between the Mr. Trump and Richard Nixon, who resigned following attempts to impeach him, as stark, she said the investigation into the incumbent president could get very muddy very quickly, adding, you can't make this up. That is what is so mind-boggling. Mr. Mueller was appointed special counsel in May by the Justice Department following the firing by Mr. Trump of FBI Director James Comey. He has since assembled a team of more than a dozen investigators, including current and former Justice Department prosecutors with experience in international bribery, organized crime and financial fraud. News of the grand jury came as senators introduced 2 bills aimed at protecting Mr. Mueller from being fired by Mr. Trump, with both parties signaling resistance to any White House effort to derail the investigation into Russian meddling in last year's election. Mr. Trump's defense team has been looking into potential conflicts of interest among members of Mr. Mueller's team, such as past political contributions to Democrats including Hillary Clinton. Mr. Trump has warned that any effort by Mr. Mueller to look into his finances would fall outside the scope of Mr. Mueller's appointment. Reuse content. We use cookies to enhance your visit to our site and to bring you advertisements that might interest you. Read our privacy and cookie policies to find out more.